Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, this is Best in Slot, and tonight we're going to take a look at all the upcoming content for Saurian, the Hell Creek dinosaur simulator game that we've all kind of adored. Now, it has been a long time since this game has been patched, and I know people have kind of forgotten about it and gotten a little bit frustrating. There's some bugs they were working out, etc. We're all very hopeful the patch is going to be quite soon. There is a ton of content to come in both this patch and in future patches, and based on the devlogs and a live stream that the Saurian devs did the other day, we're going to take a quick little look at some of the stuff we can expect both in the forthcoming patch and in patches sort of down the line. But the next one will have a ton of content. I couldn't even fit it all in, you know, there's lots of sort of AI changes, little things like crocodiles now have eating animations and threat displays and stuff like that. So let's get started. This is nothing, this is my nice little default screen. First things first, the game now has a working encyclopedia. That was always there on the main screen, but now you can access it. You go in, it's got all the different creatures that are currently in the game, as well as some new ones that we're going to look at today. Shows you some facts. This little dude here, I'm gonna get my trusty brush out. Let's grab it. This little dude here, you can actually move him about. He's your human scale called Bob, apparently. And so you can drag him around, put him underneath the dinosaurs, sort of get a proper sense of how big these creatures actually were. They've all got a little bio thing here, which is going to get expanded over time, and some basic information. You can rotate the models and all that kind of jazz as well. So, along with that, after we've shown the encyclopedia, they also showed some of the creatures that are going to be added to the game when the encyclopedia comes out with the next patch, including Brachycampsa montana, which is a new crocodilian getting added to the game. And well, not really much to say about that. And we also have one I'm much more excited about, Paleosaniwa, something like that, which is basically a big-ass Gila monster. It looks like a Gila monster, doesn't it? It's a big-ass Gila monster. It looks awesome. We're going to take a look at that in-game in a second. But it's actually got, according to the what I was reading on the website anyway, this will actually have venom as well, and venom that actually impacts your character. They were doing the AI for the venom and stuff like that, so hopefully that does make it into the game in the next patch as well. This dude is bigger than he seems. Well, he's not. I mean, you can see how big he is. He's like a large gear monster, but in-game as a raptor, he's pretty damn big. We also have Dipalma's ornithuron, which is just a bird, basically. You know I don't care about birds, but it's a very cute bird, and it will be delicious. So there we go, good stuff. Along with this part of the biome, if you look over here into the top left, you can see this is all the animals. But we also have biomes, and I'll just quickly show you that now. That is this, basically. So they were saying that one of the complaints they get is that a lot of the biomes are very similar looking, and at the end of the day they want these biomes to be realistic and to match what they would have looked like in real life as much as possible. So they're not going to, you know, make a big purple biome and a big gold biome just to mix things up for the sake of, you know, differentiation. The fact is it's meant to look how it would have looked. But here you can see there are 6 different sort of biomes in the game. So the idea is you can look through these, read a bit of information, find out what might live there, find out what kind of plants live there. Equisetum, there's our lovely Tyto-ecology plant there that we adored so much because it just spread absolutely everywhere. So you can go on this, you can click on the different 6 and kind of get more of an appreciation of how different these 6 sort of regions of the game actually are. Right, if we move off the encyclopedia, there's now a whole new sort of entrance to the game as well. So when you're back on the home screen, you click New Game, you actually end up on this screen instead. This is your character select screen. Obviously right now, Dakotaraptor is your only option. It's the only one in the game. They're adding lots of animals and lots of basic stuff. I feel like the idea is to get the basic game ready and then start to bring in the other dinosaurs. Obviously this will be expanded as well. We know there is going to be 6 dinosaurs in the final game playable rather than the 4 we have right now. We are going to talk about that in a little bit of time. But one thing I want to point out, in case you haven't noticed it already in this picture here, is the new Triceratops. Ta-da! This is just, it's a beautiful model. It's absolutely gorgeous. Is this just I don't know. Anyways, beautiful new Triceratops. I'm going to bring up the old one just so you can get a better feeling for how it's been changed. It's a lot lighter. You can see there's little sort of subtle changes. I think the horns curve down a little bit more, whereas the frontal horn may be just a little bit more prominent. The beak is less distinct from the rest of the body. The general patterning is a little bit more elaborate, but brighter in colour. The little sticky out bits don't have sort of like individual horns on them. I don't really know what to call them other than sticky out bits. I'm sure there's lots of other changes as well, but that's a general idea of what the new Triceratops is going to look like. I prefer it, I gotta say. I think it looks nicer. I like having the horns kind of, you know how they kind of just, they form a part of the skull basically. The whole plate seems to descend down around the face like that. rather than the horns like they are here, being this distinct black thing erupting from the forehead. And it is based on, you know, updated paleontology and stuff like that. So once you've clicked your Dakotaraptor, you then go into this screen, and this is your naming screen. You can choose the sex of your character, and new for this patch, and very excitingly, we can now pick difficulties. So most people are going to go on the medium one, but we'll talk about casual. You save when your animal sleeps. That's not really anything to worry about. But also in this mode, you get sort of double health. I don't know if there's anything else that's part of it, but that's the one they mentioned. You will have a much bigger health bar, so it's a lot easier. Most people obviously play on normal, wherein you'll have normal health, saving restricted to when you sleep, or on life stage, and exiting the game. I don't know why casual is the only one where you have to sleep to save, and the other ones you don't. I don't really understand that, but hey. But the exciting one, ladies and gentlemen, is realistic, otherwise known as extreme difficulty. So same saving rules as medium mode, but your save is deleted when God, that's professional. Your save's deleted when you die, which is I really like it. It's like a little roguelite kind of thing. It's going to make the whole process a lot more intense, so definitely something to look forward to, definitely something we're going to do on the channel when the game does patch. Okay, couple other things to talk about. First things first, there's a little view of our gear monster. I kind of forgotten what he's called. We're going to call him a gear monster. There's a little gear monster in-game, and another sort of a nice little close-up of him if you want to get a good look. He really does just look like a giant gear monster. And now we're going to have a little look at... I should do this in a different order. We're going to look at some of the upcoming creatures in the game, including the playable dinosaurs. Every creature that is now going into this game, I believe, has been modelled ready to be animated at the very least, you know? So that's quite a big step, a big milestone. Obviously, they can't just keep adding creatures indefinitely because there were only certain creatures that lived here, you know? One more creature that is going to get added is this lovely little Diptylodon, which is just a little, slightly bigger than a possum, little prehistoric mammal thing. One of the first mammals that would have been around. It's cute. We don't have a full rendered coloured thing for this yet, but hey, I think this is like the least developed creature so far. Before we get into the final few creatures, we're going to look at this. So, this is some slight changes to hunting that can... I'm going to try that again in English. Some slight changes to hunting that are going to come in the next patch. I'm going to read this out quickly. If you want to pause it and read it in your own time, you can do that. First, visual acuity is now more refined. Larger animals will have a harder time seeing smaller animals at long distances, and smaller animals will have an easier time seeing larger animals at long distances, etc. We can also individually tailor eyesight strength by species, so that some animals are more nearsighted than others. Second, animals now have a sense of hearing, which, like sight, can have different sensitivity depending on species, and is sensitive to the weight of the sound-producing animal. The speed of an animal also influences its loudness. Walking is quiet, running is loud. This represents the foundations for stealth gameplay, as the success of an ambush is now partially dependent on how you manage your speed. Lastly, predators have received a new nuance to their hunting behaviours. If a predator hears an animal but can't see it, or loses sight of it, that predator will search around the prey's last known spot until it either loses interest, gets distracted, or finds the prey. So there's a lot of stuff there that you maybe aren't going to instantly notice upon playing the game. You know, it's little quality of life, little realism changes that are going to make the whole world feel more alive and feel more realistic as you play it, but maybe they're not huge, big, flashy patch notes. But there's a ton of work being done sort of behind the scenes to bring the AI and the foundation of the game up to snuff even. I have done this in slightly the wrong order. One of the last creature, as far as I know, that's getting added to the game as a non-playable creature is Dinosaurs, this little, what I assume is an Ankylosaurus. I haven't really researched it. Very cute little animal there. And we're going to take a quick little look at the two other playable dinosaurs that are getting added to the game. Now, there were only going to be 4 originally, but considering how well the Kickstarter did and the sales, I think the idea was Kickstarter people would pick the final 2 dinosaurs that got added afterwards. After those initial 4, Pachycephalosaurus, Tyrannosaurus Rex, Triceratops and Dakotaraptor are done, they're going to add 2 more, the first of which is the Anzu, our giant raptory, feathery, birdy thing. This is actually quite huge. This is like bigger, this is like human size, it's fairly ginormous. They don't have animations for this yet, it doesn't have like a proper little sort of 3D render like the Dinosaurs does, but it's there. This is the last one they were working on, the last creature to sort of be built, and yeah, it's going to be awesome. It's kind of like a nice variant on the Dakotaraptor. And just to mix things up entirely, we have a smaller herbivore, we have an Ankylosaurus. Now, there will be people looking at this and thinking, that doesn't look like an Ankylosaurus at all. Ankylosaurus actually very recently got redone in terms of how it's, like, really recently has kind of been re-evaluated how it would have actually looked, so it looked a lot more like this. What we all think of as an Ankylosaurus turns out probably wasn't really what Ankylosaurus looked like. It's kind of gone the way of Spinosaurus, etc, etc. This one, however, is absolutely goddamn adorable. So it is pink. Look at its face, little eyes, a little smile. It's adorable. So that's going to come out down the line. Again, these are not going to come into the game. They might come into the game as NPCs, I don't know, but they're not going to be playable, I'd imagine, until the original 4 are done first. I'm really excited to see them in there, but we shall see what happens. I've also, just as a final note, if we go back, meow, the T-Rex, they made a sly little comment on the thing about the T-Rex needing a remodel, so maybe that's something that's going to happen as well, but I don't want to like get your hopes up if it's not a thing. It may well not be a thing, but there was a hint of it, shall we say, on the live stream. So there we go. They have uploaded that entire live stream, so I'll link that down below if you want to sit back and watch it for yourselves. You can do that. I've kind of collated this information from multiple sources, so you're not going to get all of this in the live stream, but there may be lots of stuff I missed. I couldn't sit down and watch the entire 2-hour thing. I kind of had to pick out some highlights. Either way, loads of stuff to be excited about in the future of Saurian. I know they haven't updated in ages. I've not really been thinking about the game in ages just because it has been so long. But if it means we get the most realistic, the best dinosaur simulator game possible, then, you know, long term it's going to be worth it. Really excited for the patch. Hopefully it doesn't come out while I'm away next week. Saurian devs, if you're watching this, if you want to delay the patch to like the 15th, 16th, that would be nice, thanks. And we're going to end it there. Please do like this video if you enjoyed this information, folks, and subscribe to be kept up to date on Saurian gameplay. Obviously, when it updates, we're going to play it that day if I'm not out of the country, and lots more dinosaur animal simulation games in general. Cheers, much love, as always. Bye-bye.